Hello everyone, this is Stephen Smith, and this is my Teach One assignment on Learning Module 5. Learning Module 5 is based on predictive models. Predictive models use data to make possible predictions relative to future diagnosis. In addition, it allows healthcare professionals to assess any potential risk factor. This practice can improve efficiency among diagnoses and cures. For this Teach One assignment, I'm going to rank order the repeated bacterial diagnosis of each person and calculate a separate likelihood ratio for each occasion of repetition of the unspecified bacterial diagnosis. And then once that's done, I'm going to plot the relationship between likelihood ratio for diabetes and the number of bacterial infections. First, here you can see I rank the repeated infections. Here I use the dense rank function because if a diagnosis occurs more than once within the same location, it will give it the same rank order rather than bump the rank up. Okay, so I dense rank the patient ID so that it relates to us whether or not they fall under the infected category. And then partition is used here to count infections for all patients and is ordered by age at diagnosis. If no infection, the infection is assigned a 0 as repeated infection. What I did here, I took top 12 from the temp table data 2 with a specific ID so that you can see the different, so you can see the ranks. Here's the likelihood ratio. Before the actual calculation of the likelihood ratio, we first calculate the infected diabetics. So first we select the repeated infections and use the count distinct function for ID as infected diabetic, where if there's a 1, that means they have diabetes, and we group by repeated infection. Then we select repeated infection here and calculate it those who are infected but don't have diabetes as infected non-diabetic, and by them being non-diabetic, it's assigned a 0 and grouped by repeated infection. Once that is done, I set the diabetes and non-diabetes with the @ symbol in front of it, and use the count distinct function so that we ensure that each patient is in our calculation, so that we avoid any zeros being divided or multiplied. We take any null values and calculate it as 1 over infected diabetic plus 1. If the infected non-diabetic is null, it is calculated as infected diabetic plus 1. For the actual likelihood ratio calculation, use the infected diabetic over diabetic divided by infected non-diabetic over non-diabetic as the likelihood ratio. And you can see down here the calculation once that's done. Then this is the chart relative to the results that we got for likelihood ratio. This will be the end of my presentation. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope that it provides any insight that you didn't have before. Thank you.